Okay, so this will be the first human contact this little guy's had. Hello farm friends, it is a beautiful day on the farm. Very seldom do we get a day like this in December. It's only 48 degrees, but there's no wind or very little wind, and it's sunny and it feels great. So I was like, I don't even need a coat, but I am excited to spend a little time with the little horse, the little colt we just brought home from Martin's Quarter Horses in Bayfield, Colorado. And so we're gonna spend some time with him, get to know him, and maybe even have you help me figure out a name for him. So let's spend some time with him and see what we learn. I always do that to myself. I jinx myself when I say there's no wind, and then all of a sudden the wind starts blowing. So I hope the sound's okay, but I have put this new Colt and Blaze here together, and I'll show you what my plan is. So here's Blaze, and there's the black. I'm calling him black, but he's a blue roan, but right now he looks pretty black. And I'm gonna put them in my handy dandy chute together. And the reason I do this is because the blue roan's never been haltered or even messed with, to my knowledge. Martin's raised some awesome horses, but they're both in their 70s, I think. And they raise some awesome horses, but they don't come halter broke. And so I'm gonna put him in this chute, and I put him with his buddy Blaze. So Blaze, that's accustomed to humans, will be more calm and collected, and that seems to help the other one to stay calm. So guys, the reason I even have this beautiful little colt is that he is a son of my stallion 66, and he comes out of a Martin's Quarter Horse mare, a beautiful blue roan up in Bayfield, Colorado. Those of you that follow our channel know that my stallion 66, and I'll show you a picture of him. I call him 66, but his registered name is Stylish Roan. Now, we're just gonna talk as this colt needs to figure things out. Right now, he thinks he can turn around and get away, but I just want him to realize that, hey, I'm not a bad guy, and we're gonna just sit here and talk for a minute. But my stallion, Stylish Roan, that I call 66, has been leased to Martin's Quarter Horses in Bayfield, Colorado for the last 2 years. And Chris and Susie raised some beautiful horses. And it has been my privilege to get to know them, become friends of theirs, and to have my stallion exposed to their beautiful mares. Well, the payment for leasing him to them for 2 years was 2 babies, and one of the babies went to Amory in a trade that Amory and I did, and the other one is this one. And today we're going to put a halter on him. I'm going to get him dewormed. We're going to talk about, I don't know what his registered name is. It's been submitted to AQHA and we're waiting for approval. So I wish we did have his registered name, but if you were to just, what would you call this little guy? He's a blue roan. He looks pretty black right now, but there's some roan in his flanks, and I promise he is a blue roan. So what would you call him? I've thought of names like Colt. I don't know why, just Colt 66. Steel. What was the other name I thought of? Anyway, what names would you pick out for this little blue roan? I keep calling him little. He's not little, he's good size. But compared to Blaze, he actually looks kind of little. Blaze is quite a bit taller. I don't know if you noticed that. They're about the same age. Blaze also has ties to Martin's quarter horses because his daddy was Gold 66. That was a Martin's quarter horse baby. So both of these have ties to Martin's quarter horses in Bayfield, Colorado. If you want to get a sibling to this little guy, and maybe I can show you some of his siblings from this year. Maybe we'll flash them on the screen, but if you want one of his siblings that'll be born this next year, you better hurry and put a deposit down, because 66 is no longer at Bayfield, Colorado. And so if you want a 66 baby from a Martin's quarter horse mare, you've only got a few chances. Now, they told me that they may keep a couple fillies by 66 so that the 66 legacy can continue at Martin's quarter horses, but that's between them and you and whatever you figure out. But if you want a roan baby by a Martin's quarter horse mare, you better give him a call. Anyway, I need to find something to tie this real quick, and then I'm gonna get a dewormer, and we're gonna get a halter, and we're just gonna start loving on this boy, and it'll be the first time he's really been handled in his whole life. So I'm excited. I've got Lex and Chipper out here, and Luna, and they're all just hanging around wondering what I'm doing with the babies. I am going to separate Blaze from his mom. I haven't worried about getting him weaned because his mom still looks fat and sassy, and so there was no hurry to do that. A lot of times, if the mare is getting skinny, it's pulling on her, then I will wean a baby sooner. Never before 4 months, but I don't like to go past 6 months, and it's 6 months for Blaze right now. I think it's time to let mama have a break, and it's a perfect time for Blaze and his buddy here to just kind of pair up and learn to be teenagers on their own without mama around. So let me get some things ready, and then we'll keep going and see what we think of this colt. I don't know why the name Colt for a colt sounds weird, but for me, I kind of like, I don't know, Colt, steel, like metal steel. I don't know why, but he is a blue roan, but he doesn't have a ton of white this year. He's just a black with some white frosting mixed in, so it'll be fun to see how he sheds out. Right as I was talking to you guys, look who came to say hi to Chipper. You know what? I've told you all along, I can't imagine that they put money into gelding him, because they weren't even putting money into feeding him. He was so starved down. But I never have seen any indication that he's a stallion, but he just came up acting a little interested in the girls. So I don't know, maybe his testicles just haven't dropped yet. So we will be keeping an eye on Hombre here. But that's why he's not in here with my registered mares either. Hey guys, even though you'll see this video later, it's my son Bryson's birthday. He's 28 years old today. Oh, he's talking to his wife. So, wish him a happy birthday. He just brought me some dewormers that have been purchased by some of you that are our dear friends from our Amazon wish list. Thank you so much. Okay, so this will be the first human contact this little guy's had. Now what? Oh, wow, that was awesome. Now, when I say that, the Martins are so good about their horses' dispositions are naturally good, but they also go out with their little side-by-side or ranger or whatever you call that little thing, the gator, I don't know what it is. And they feed them treats and stuff, so that their moms have been right up close to them. And once in a while, one of these babies will walk up and they can pet their nose. So when I say first human contact, I don't know how accurate that is totally, but I also know that he's never had a halter on him, and this is the first time he's just had a human loving all over him. Now look at this. See the white hair underneath the black? When he sheds out this next spring, he is going to look so good. His winter hair found a cockleburr, but he is going to look so good, guys. Let's come on this side, because horses have two sides to that brain, and you've got to desensitize them on both sides, huh? See, you don't like me touching this side as much, but it won't be long before you realize, hey, it feels good on both sides. We'll scratch him. We're gonna put a halter on here in a little bit. The hard part is finding a halter the right size. It seems like the halters for this size are Blaze. There you go. Now Blaze is already super gentle. I'm in no hurry to find him a forever home, but I would sell Blaze at this point. He will make a heck of a rope horse, barrel horse, whatever. One of Gold 66's sisters, I believe, Martins were telling me, is doing really well in the barrel racing world right now. But he's got the two white stockings in the back, the Blaze face, just a big old pretty sorrel. As for the blue roan colt, I'm in no hurry to get him to a new home. I want to see what he looks like this spring when he sheds out. And so I'll probably sell him, just because that was the plan all along, but I don't want to commit to that yet. 66 babies are pretty special. My brother Levi rides Booger, that he says is one of his favorite horses ever. And that's saying a lot from a brother that has ridden a lot of horses. So, all right, I'm gonna deworm Colt still 66. Maybe we'll call him Chris after Chris Martin. I'm just kidding. Well, maybe not. I like Chris. That's a good one. So I'm gonna deworm these two before I put a halter on the little guy. The trick will be to do it and video it with no help here. Hey, it's all right, boy. It's all right. I know you're a little afraid. You have nothing to be afraid of, though. Oops. Just hit it out of my hand. That's why it's gonna be hard. If I had two hands and some help videoing, but Vicky's in spoiling the grandkids and my son, whose birthday it is. Ho, ho. That's all right. And if I don't get this accomplished while you're watching, I could always turn the camera off, which I might do. I just want to make it a better experience for him. Well, I got it done, but it would have been hard to do it with just one hand. So one of these syringes is more than enough to do two babies this size. So we'll give the rest to Blaze here. What do you think, Blaze? You've had this before. There you go. So get them both dewormed at the same time. Now I'm going to put a halter on the colt and see how that goes. There you go, guys. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Now, some people may disagree, but I actually like, once they got a halter on, let me see if I can do this with one hand again. Everything's been a little harder with one hand today. All right, I like to put a lead rope on and let him go. Now, I've already been loving on him and stuff, but it's what's gonna happen when I let him go is he's gonna get used to this thing dragging around. Horses are gonna step on it, and that's gonna cause him to have to learn to give to pressure. And after just a little while, in the next day or two, he will be leading no problem. And we'll take you along for all that. So come on, you guys can go out now if you want. He's like, oh, cool, I get to go. Now he doesn't realize, okay, now he realizes, he's like, whoa, that rope, it's following me. What's going on here? He stepped on it a couple times. I didn't leave the gate open. Like, isn't Blaze looking good, guys? I think someone needs to make a rope horse out of him. All right. Now, I know I'll get comments that accidents can happen, and the answer is that's true. They can. But honestly, on the farm, accidents can happen no matter what. And everything takes some risk. And so I don't do it without caution and without some prayers. But I also have found this system to work well. So he will drag around this rope for a few days. I'm just kind of moving him around so you guys can see him. The other horses will step on it, he'll step on it, he'll get used to things dragging behind him. Someday when he's dragging a rope behind him as a rope horse or something, he'll be like, oh, that's not a problem. I've done that since I was a baby. So Luna's kind of mothered up to these younger ones, and she's looking fat. We're gonna get her pregnancy checked soon and see if she happens to be pregnant. And then we're hoping that somehow Lex got pregnant by Chippy. Chippy died, and those of you that watch our channel know that. So the sad thing is, the vet got a blood sample, but living in a small town, she missed the deadline. It wasn't our small town, it was down in southern Arizona. The vet did not get the sample in quickly enough, and by the time the sample got to the lab, it was no longer viable. So they could not determine what happened to Chippy. So we're hoping, we have no idea, but we're hoping to get a baby out of Lex and Chippy. That's what we're hoping. Lex does look very fat, but she also just kind of has a broodmare belly. But thanks for coming along, guys. Tell me what you think of Martin's quarter horses, our new black colt, which is actually a blue roan colt, and what you think of today's process. And even if you're critical of it, that's okay. You can leave those comments too. Have a good day, everybody.